here. I think
There you go.
I know the plan to go live and the live. It's two different things, obviously. Because I tried to do that to the group last time and it didn't show up. I was like,
Yep, there's also about a 5-second lag on Instagram too, but we're up and running there.
cool, cool.
Let me check Twitter real quick. I think we're good.
I think we're good to go. I think so.
Yes, we are. We are rolling.
Looks like we're good. So. All right. Welcome to a special edition of Metalheads Unite. Of course, this is a kind of almost an old school schedule, I guess. But
that's true. That is true. Used to be the way the way we did it. What was it, about a year and a half ago, I guess, somewhere around there. But yeah, we used to do the Saturday morning thing until schedules needed to kind of change a little bit. But here we are back again. The reason why we are doing this on a Saturday morning, as you could guess, is we have another live guest from, well, Iceland isn't technically across the pond all the way, but
right.
we do have another guest with some international flair, and they are from Iceland. And we have the lead singer with us. We have Andre Sigurdsson from the band Duft joining us on the program this morning. And there he is. There's Andres. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks. Actually, I'm not the lead singer. I'm the guitar player.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. The page I'm looking at has you listed as guitars and vocals. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Alex is the main vocalist, but I do some background screaming.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, that's my mistake. I'm sorry. So
he's the Adam to Alex's Jesse. So Kill Switch. So.
Oh, see, okay, that analogy makes sense. Okay, I understand that now. Okay, all right.
Yeah, so I just I guess I kind of wanted to start out and say congratulations on the album. Definitely, in my mind, it's a success. Hopefully, you guys see much success from it because I think it's a really killer album. So,
yeah, thanks. It means a lot to hear. You're happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely do a hell of a lot worse having that be your debut LP for sure.
Right.
So
that's about what I was going to say. Like, man, you don't get too many debut LPs where you just like rolling through it, and it's like it was like to me, I was listening and it was over, and I was like, no, it's not already. It's only now. And then and I do like the fact that you get 10 solid tracks out of it, and then that little intro in the beginning, which I'm usually kind of iffy with intros, but I think in like you guys' case with being kind of debuting an album, I think an intro kind of sets the tone for like, hey, this is kind of like, hey, are you ready for this? And then by the time Caved In hits, I don't know if I was ready for that, but definitely you can't judge the intro by the rest of the album, that's for sure. So but definitely I'm glad you're on, because I think that's one of the main things that stood out for me was the guitar work in that album. It's amazing guitar work in this album, dude. So just want to congratulate you guys on that. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully you guys see much success going forward from the album. And
yeah, thanks, man.
So my first question would probably be Duft. Okay, where did that name kind of come from? So.
So basically, it looks good on paper.
There you go.
It's easy to say wherever you are in the world.
True.
And it means powder in Icelandic, but I understand it also means scent in German, or smell. So
okay.
it kind of, yeah.
No, we are saying that right. It is Duft, right?
Yeah, well, we would pronounce it Duft, but I
See,
don't think it really matters.
that's what I thought. I wanted to make sure. Well, I wanted to make sure we were saying it correctly. So I mean, I know that's your country of origin is where the name came from. So I wanted to make sure that we were saying it right because the way we do shit in America, we just look at it and pronounce it the way it looks. So I mean, that's just unfortunately that's just the way we do it here. But considering we're in our fourth year with the amount of bands we've talked to from other countries, we try to make sure that we're saying the either the album title, the band name, the city of origin or whatever. We're trying to out of respect to say everything properly. So we just want to make sure. So
and sometimes the band members' names we kind of like have to like talk to them beforehand. Okay, how do you pronounce this?
Right? Yeah.
We don't want to be talking to you guys for an hour and be like mispronouncing your name. That's
right. Yeah.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, I'm kind of used to that same thing with my last name. So people get it wrong all the time. So hell, Jason called me the wrong name technically for years, but it just never bothered me. So I didn't even really bother to correct him.
And like I said, that was because that's the way I was introduced to you. So
right.
I didn't know any different until you like said something. I'm like, oh well, hell, why didn't you say something? You're like, I don't know.
It doesn't bother me, but we do try to make sure we're pronouncing everything correctly when we're talking to somebody from another country. So, but just trying to be respectful. But so you guys have been around since 2021. How did the formation of the band come about?
Yeah, well, so there's Alex, the lead singer, and Victor, the bass player. We played together in another band earlier, and when that kind of we split up, but us three we knew we wanted to make music together, and there was still a lot of unfinished ideas for songs but yeah, so we kind of kept in touch, and I was working on the riffs. Just wasn't really sure what to do with them, but I had compiled 10 demos that eventually became the album. So yeah, a few months later, I just started presenting them with those ideas, and me and Alex decided that this was going to be a band. We're going to put this out, and yeah, we convinced Victor to join also. So then there was three of us, and the guys got Gummi, who's the lead guitar player, and we went to the studio we were excited about this project. So we went to the studio without a drummer, and our friend plays drums on the album. His name is Benny. He plays for Unmeser, which is a pretty good Icelandic hardcore band. But he wasn't able to join full time, but he does the drums on the album.
So when did Michael come along full time as the drummer?
Yeah, I was we had finished the recording, but it was while we were the album was being mixed. That would probably be in 2022. No, wait, it was 2023 even. We had done some live shows with another drummer who also was unable to commit full time. So yeah, it was year and a half ago, Mickey joins, and yeah.
So the fact that you really weren't able to secure a full-time drummer until sometime last year, did that really did that slow down the progression of the band a little bit? Did that kind of keep things from getting off the ground a little faster than you thought it would?
Well, maybe a little bit, but it never bothered us. It was we were so dead set on making this work. So our first gig, we actually did backing track. We had the drums on tape.
Oh, okay.
Because the guy who was going to play with us, then he fell ill the day before, and we just said, yeah, fuck it, we can't. It's our first show. We've been waiting for this forever. So
right. So you
just soldier on.
Yeah, just found a way to overcome. That's definitely being able to shift on the fly. So that's good to be able to be flexible. But so it's good that you were able to pull that off. So how often have you guys been able to get out? Have you just primarily had to stay in Iceland? Have you been able to have you gotten out? Have you gotten over into the UK, over into Scandinavia? I mean, how far out have you guys been able to get?
No, yeah, we have only done shows here in Iceland. Do so pretty regularly, but like with the album coming out, like we have like international label and everything. So we're trying to we're trying to make it work so that we can do some tours with promoting the album and stuff like that. So it's like
Yeah,
we first wanted to get like the release in order before we started heading out.
well, that makes total sense. So yeah, you guys are listed as being on Scarlet Records. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that's funny because I actually had to reach out to somebody at Scarlet to set this up because I couldn't find any contact info on you guys. So I was like, well, I'll just hit the record label up and see what they can do. So
Yeah.
they were very nice and was willing to help me out there. So I appreciate them pointing me in the right direction anyway. So
Yeah, that's great.
yeah,
So-
and they actually have a lot of good bands on their label too. I was listening to a few of the other bands, so it's something that hopefully we've got a relationship with a couple of smaller labels here in the States. So hopefully that may create a relationship down the road since we kind of been in contact a little bit already. So
yeah, that would be
Yeah.
nice because I mean they have quite the list going. Oh shit, Hidden Intents on that label.
yeah.
Oh damn!
Why,
All right,
yeah, that's why it sounded familiar too. It's like
nice.
I was looking through there and I was like, oh, okay. There was actually a couple bands on there I heard of before. So,
Yeah.
so
Well, I mean, they definitely have pretty much every. I mean, they got symphonic metal, thrash
oh
metal,
yeah,
heavy metal, black metal. I mean,
yeah,
they definitely don't
no,
well, I was going to say discriminate. But that's not exactly really really the proper way of saying it. But I mean, yeah, they seem to cover every subgenre for the most part. So they've how long have you guys been with Scarlet Records now? I mean, roughly.
Yeah, just a few months.
Okay,
wow.
they've been treating you guys well then, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's good. That's very good because I mean we've heard some stories, of course, in the press, and then we have had a couple guests on the show that haven't had the best experience with a label. So I mean it's good to hear that you guys are being treated well, especially newer band, brand new album. So it's good to hear that you guys are being taken care of, and especially like you just said a little bit ago, you guys have some stuff in the works where you guys are going to be able to get out and play.
Mm-hmm.
So when the album came out, of course, it's only been out since the 17th, but was there any formal release shows, anything that the label put on for you guys for that?
No, we just we're planning our release show here in Reykjavik.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be a month from now.
Okay, so it is coming up. All right, cool. That's good.
Yeah.
So you guys are the first band we've talked to from Iceland. Give us a little bit of a sense of the scene in Iceland.
Yeah, it's definitely a small scene, but it's a good scene. So yeah, we have a lot of great bands here in the underground, like good hardcore bands, good death metal bands, good black metal bands. So yeah, but I would say it's pretty intimate. You see a lot of the same faces around when you play shows and stuff like that. I mean, there are just 2 or 3 clubs here that can host that kind of concerts. So yeah.
Well, it's probably good in that kind of sense because with your first album coming out, you're able to kind of build a rapport with your fan base, and then there's a familiarity with everybody. So, as you guys are coming up, you'll be able to, in essence, kind of take them with you as you guys move, across, get over to, like I say, to UK, to the Europe, to Scandinavia. So hopefully they'll be able to follow you guys and kind of be able to, well, word of mouth for sure, but thanks to stuff like this, podcasts and the internet and stuff like that, you guys will already have a fan base built in. That way they can kind of help you spread the word as you guys are getting out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was actually looking up some of the Icelandic metal bands, and like nothing like stuck out. So I'm guessing like most of the is there like a more popular metal band from over there? Or?
Yeah, there are some that are pretty popular, overseas. So yeah, like for instance, Unmeser, which I mentioned earlier.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's yeah. Also in the with the black metal bands, they've gained quite the notoriety. It's Mr. Mink, Svarte Döði, stuff like that.
Okay. I noticed like a lot of bands, especially like in that like death scene, they're kind of switching to more of a hardcore death metal kind of combo. Where it's a little bit to us, like I'm not really a big death metal fan, but that makes it a little more interesting to me to kind of drag me into that genre a little bit more. So listen to the hardcore death metal is a little bit.
Right. I was going to say, especially the way, Andres and the guys did it, they kind of incorporated, both really well.
Right.
I think that's why the album works as well as it does. Cause it's not, they don't have it nailed down to just like one genre,
right.
I mean, there's even going, one thing I noticed, Andres, is even going from, track to track is you get a little bit of a different flavor all throughout. There's no what am I trying to say here? There's no I mean there's plenty of diversity. Let me just say it that. Yeah. Let me just put it that way, because I mean, there's even a little bit, as far as I was concerned, especially as the album went on, you guys even threw in a little bit more, elements of thrash. There was more focus on a little bit of guitar work in there. Of course, it's obviously it's there throughout the entire album, but it seemed to be a little more pronounced. There were some of the solos that got a little bit longer, so it seemed to be like some of the songs toward the end were a little more guitar centric than at the very beginning, but at the very beginning of the album, it was more like Jason said, after the intro and the first track kicks in, it just getting your feet wet, letting everybody know, hey, this is who we are, this is what we're bringing to the table, and then everything kind of branched off from there, because what I heard, as far as because Jason already mentioned, Adam to Jesse and all that other stuff. So I mean, there, little Killswitch Engage in there, even some Hatebreed in there, even maybe sprinkled in a little bit, vocally, a couple songs, a couple of verses in there, where even a little bit of maybe Corey Taylor influence came in. So I mean, so I liked that it went in all sorts of different directions. Mm-hmm. We like that here, when everything kind of, there's nothing wrong with an album going in a straight line, but with some of the artists that we've listened to, especially on their first LP, what we like is when they're establishing identity that goes all over the place. That way, as far as we're concerned, we know that a band isn't going to be one dimensional, and we think that's good for a band, especially like you guys coming off of your first album.
No, yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of the thing we were going for, because like when these songs are being written, like we have like we like all sorts of heavy music. It's hardcore, death metal, like thrash metal, whatever, and we even like trying to do some doomy stuff there, bluesy stuff, and we just take everything like that we collectively like and just go from there. And we were really happy with the way it came out, because we felt like there is a consistency through the 10 tracks, even though it's like different styles happening all at once. So yeah, we were really happy with the way it came out, like with the consistency and the sound and stuff like that.
It definitely flowed really well from, like I said, from the beginning to the end. So
yeah, it definitely had a fantastic flow. Another thing that I liked about the album is, Jason said that, when he was listening to it, then before he knew it, it was over. But one of that is true. It is a very quick listen. It's like, what was it, 35 minutes? So it wasn't
35. Yeah.
Right, it's right around 35 minutes. One of the things that I liked about it is, you're looking at the track listing, you've got 1, 2, 3, you have 4 songs that are less than 3 minutes long. Now, I don't know if that was anything that was planned or anything like that, but what I like about it is those short songs, they have so much intensity.
Oh, yeah.
That's how long they needed to be, because it just felt like those tracks in particular. I mean, the album as a whole, of course, but those tracks in particular, it felt like those shorter track times were just organic, just because of how intense and up tempo the songs were. That's one of the things I liked about it. Is some of these bands, you got at least 6, 7, 8 minute songs, and those are great. They're great. There's definitely a place for those, but there's also those songs, those 4 songs in particular, kind of reminded me of Primal Concrete Sledge by Pantera off of Cowboys from Hell. That song is like barely 2.5 minutes long, but that's as long as that song needed to be. And those 4 songs, they kind of, each of them in their own way reminded me of that. It's like, that's how long those songs had to be. That's all you needed was 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes and 36 seconds, 2:40, 20. I mean, Anomic Suicide is only 2:08, but it's like, hey, that song said everything it needed to say, and that's as long as that song needed to be, and I liked that. There are times to me where it's like, okay, this song didn't need to be any longer. Why was it longer? So that's what I liked about the album in its entirety. Because I mean, the longest track is 524, and 20th Century Doom. That song was, without like going back over it track by track right now, I mean, that was probably, that may have been the song with like the slowest tempo, even though nothing on this album to me was slow. But you guys did kind of pull it back a little bit for that. But that's where like the Doom element came in, obviously, with it called 20th Century Doom.
That's I don't know how much feedback you guys have gotten from the album, but that 20th Century Doom and the Dragged Across Concrete is probably 2 of my favorite songs on the album. So
yeah, that's awesome, man.
I would actually probably have to say, because the question came up a couple weeks ago when Colby and Keegan were on the show. He kind of put us on the spot and asked us what our favorite song was. I mean, if I was kind of, Andres, not that you were going to ask, but I was kind of ready. I was kind of ready for that. After last week, we kind of got caught a little flat-footed on that one. But I would probably have to say Scarface Blues may have been my favorite song. If I had to pick one, I would probably say that one. That one kind of stuck out to me the most. And at the same time, I hate answering that question because it kind of makes me feel like, well, I liked this one, all the other ones sucked, but it's obviously not the case. But so I kind of.
Well, I just think it's beneficial to the band if they're like, especially if they go on like several of these and they're getting like different,
of course,
feedback from different podcasters or interviewers or whatever they decide, whatever they're going on. So I think that's beneficial to the band and as a whole to kind of like, okay, what's your favorite tune? But like you can say all of them, but I mean, it's because they are all great. I mean,
they absolutely are. But I mean, it just feels kind of, on one hand, it feels weird to say, yeah, they're all great, and on the other hand, it feels weird to say that this particular track is my favorite track. So I mean, it to me, like I say, I'm not speaking for Jason, but
Well,
you know, for me, it just kind of feels weird when it's like my favorite track is this, and it almost
right.
I worry sometimes. I worry that it comes off like, yeah, all the other 9 tracks can go to hell, but that's not the case.
They it's yeah, but you know, with this album being a debut album, another thing that's kind of, you know, interesting to me is you don't get a lot of debut albums where you can just hit the play on it and just let it go. I mean, it's, you know, and you can just do it over. Like I've listened to this like 3 or 4 times already, just because, you know, I listened to it when it came out a couple times, and then of course, you know, since getting prepared for the interview, I listened to it a few more times to see if I could find anything that I haven't already, you know, pointed out. So it's definitely an easy album to just set and play and just, you know, in your area, whether what, you know, I don't want to say, you know, drinking a beer because everybody don't drink, but you know, whatever your case may be, that you know, if you're in your zone and just have headphones on, listen to music. I mean, that's a lot of times where I'm at, just to shut out office, you know, when I'm at the office, just to shut out office people. But so,
Yeah.
and pray to God Pantera Walt don't come on, and they're pissing me off. So
no, yeah, of course, like we're happy to hear that, because we spend a lot of time like working on the track list, like what should come first and what should come second, to make it the best way to be a whole listen. Like we listen to albums that way, like start the song
right,
first song and then listen through to the last one. So that's kind of what we were hoping people could do with our album. So yeah, we appreciate that for sure.
I think we say that a little bit more mainly because of our age group, I guess, because we're in our 40s. So I mean, when we first got into music, it was, you know, you threw a record on and you didn't get to skip anything. I mean, you had to you had to let the record play. So
yeah,
I mean, even with cassettes, it was kind of hard to fast forward and stop, and you know, you better off just playing it and listening. So
yeah.
You know,
The funny thing is, funny thing is, as far as that goes, cassettes I think were actually harder, because at least on a record you could at least see the little line between each song, so you could at least kind of half-ass eyeball it. It's like, I don't want to listen to that track. So I mean, but yeah, cassette tapes were damn near impossible.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, thankfully at some point CDs came along, so you know, track 2, track 3, track 4, whatever. So, now something you mentioned earlier. You were talking about this. A lot of the songs were left over, and then you guys had to. A lot of them were demos, and you had to finish them for the album. Now, how much tweaking did you have to do to get the songs finished for the album?
Well, a lot.
Okay.
So the old ideas, I guess that would be maybe 5 songs.
Okay.
Were all totally reworked, and then like the other half was just fresh material. So
okay,
yeah.
right.
So
okay, because that's kind of what it's kind of why I wanted to ask that question, because obviously the album title, you know, The Altar of Instant Gratification, you know, that probably, now just obviously just guessing from my point of view, as a whole, that album title probably talks about like the way we are as a society, how we need everything right now and all this other stuff, and we don't have any patience for everything because we've always got our phones and all this other shit, and you know, we got all this access to whatever and whatnot at the push of a button. So I was kind of wondering, when you said that basically you had all those demos that you kind of repurposed for the album, how much needed to be changed to fit with the theme of the album? So
well, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, so these were like instrumental demos.
Okay.
So like with the lyrics, that's all completely new and fresh.
Oh,
and
okay.
then basically all the old instrumentals were like reworked.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Okay. All right. So I didn't know you didn't have any words down yet. Okay. All right.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
So who is do all of you guys kind of contribute in the lyrics, or is that kind of just?
Yeah, well, it's on the record. There are like, I have 2 songs that I wrote the lyrics for, and then Victor, the bass player, has 1, and he also does vocals on them, and then Alex has the rest.
Okay. Well, so at least y'all give the bass player a little something, you know. Most
of course, of course.
Yeah. I don't know, like I always say that, but I'm like, I don't. A lot of times I don't realize I'm talking to other countries, so I don't know, like if they're on board with the bass jokes that we do here in the United States.
Oh yeah,
And,
we're aware of that.
And I was a bassist when I played in a band too, so I can relate. So, but is that so? When we were talking about the recording, was there any tracks that didn't make the cut for the album that you guys kind of can hang on to for maybe something future or live shows?
Well, yeah, there was one track that was scrapped very early, but it's not going to make its way into anything.
Okay, so just died.
It was scrapped for a good reason. So.
Okay.
So, well, that was in the shredder and never coming back. So, so good.
Put it into that recycling bin and then empty the recycling bin. It's like, are you sure it'll be gone forever? Yes. Click. Yes. Yes. Gone forever. Don't want anything to do with that file anymore.
So since it's never going to be released, what was it about the song that you guys didn't like?
Well, just it was a crappy song.
It's just a crappy song.
Yeah, bad riffs, bad structure, like it happens.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it happens quite a bit, actually. Yeah, so. I think I think that might be the first time we've actually heard it phrased. Like, it was just a crappy song.
Yeah. Pure and simple, man. No beating around the bush.
Well, I mean, a lot of other people would have been a little more diplomatic. I think, but like, nah, it just sucks.
Hey, honesty is great, though, especially
absolutely
in this kind of business. So, you sound like the scene over there. So, are there a lot of venues to for like say like bigger bands to come there and stuff? Is there venues to hold like a Metallica or Megadeth or anything?
Yeah, for sure. They're like we have like these sports halls that host that kind of stuff. On the rare occasion that someone that big comes over and plays over here.
Yeah, that's why I asked, because we do a tour date section on our show, our regular show. When we do the news and everything, we kind of do a tour date section. And in Iceland's, very rarely we ever come across an Iceland date. So I was just like, kind of curious about how they're so it's mostly like club scene there, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can relate.
No, sorry.
I was just going to say we can kind of relate to that here in Nashville. We have a couple of big venues, but we have a lot of small bar type venues. Yeah.
Yeah, so many smaller venues. But I mean, we do still get plenty of. We are lucky in one respect. I mean, even with the amount of like smaller venues we do have, we do still get quote unquote some smaller or up and coming acts. They do come through here, so we do get lucky in that respect. But yeah, there are so many small venues, so many. Of course, we have the football stadium, and. So I mean, like Def Leppard, Motley Crue, they came through here. Was that 22, Jason, that came through? 22? I can't remember, but
I think so.
I think it was 22 when they came. And of course, we have the hockey arena. So I mean, that's where most of the shows, the bigger names come through. Slipknot came through, Megadeth and Lamb of God, Trivium, they came through.
I honestly try to stay away from those, mainly because they jack up the like service fees so much.
They do.
I would rather just go to a small show and pay just the taxes and give my money to the band for merch or something than do all the service fee thing. That's just my personal opinion. But and don't get me wrong, if there's somebody big that comes there, like Priest or somebody that I haven't seen or something, and then I would probably take the hit and just go watch them. But as far as smaller bands, I feel like they get more out of going to the local scene and getting meet and greets with fans, and band merch is probably better in on that sense. I think. I just went to a small show a few weeks back, and man, the merch lines were crazy, dude. Just for probably a couple of hundred people in there, and it was just like wow, just to see the merch was just kind of going. They were just going around to each band buying stuff off every table. I'm just like, man, this is awesome. Just to watch that was kind of satisfying to me, because doing what we do is we try to do, we talk to bands that aren't in that limelight yet, especially guys like you that are your band and other bands that we've talked to that are overseas. I don't think they get a lot of love over here in the U.S. like they should. So
no, they don't.
so I, that's what we try to do. We also have a radio station that we run too, so we try to like throw tunes from bands that we've talked to on there too, so people can kind of get introduced to them that way too. So we try to do our part, for whatever that's worth. I mean, that's we don't get 1 million listeners or anything, so we're not there yet. But
yeah, we're only a few years in too, just like you guys are. So we're trying to we're trying to help people make a name as we're trying to make one for ourselves at the same time. So
yeah, now, and that's the way to do it, I think, right?
Yeah. Now, speaking of merch, like Jason just talked about, now you guys have, like you said, you've only been able to kind of stay in Iceland for for all part. You said you haven't been able to get out of Iceland yet, but has this merch cut bullshit affected you guys at all? Does that kind of affect you guys there?
No. We handle our own merch, so
okay, well, good.
Yeah. I know we talk about venues over here, be like, oh well, you gotta, if you play here, you gotta give us 20% of your merch cuts or some shit like that. And I just like that just burns me up every time I read stuff like that. So
yeah,
yeah, like, yeah. We don't have a problem with that over here.
Okay, well, good,
nice.
Good.
Yeah.
So there you go. If any bands are listening, go to Iceland. You don't have to worry about.
Yeah. Come over.
Yeah, on your way across the Atlantic, stop in Reykjavik, and
there you
put on a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, make some good money. So
make some good money and make some new fans. I mean,
right?
I don't know, because I mean, with you guys being over in Iceland, I know you guys aren't, geographically part of the Scandinavian scene, but me personally, and Jason knows this, me personally, I'm really into the Scandinavian metal scene. There's a lot of bands that I listen to that are from there, so I would probably kind of put you guys in that scene. Like I say, even though geographically you probably really aren't part of Scandinavia, but I know a lot of like the Nordic history and stuff like that is kind of includes your country. So I kind of lump it all in. So I'm kind of glad that we finally made it to your country as far as getting a band from there. So I mean, because I still, even with, and Jason posted a graphic about this the other day, and it came from Encyclopedia Metallum, the amount of bands that come from Norway, Finland, Sweden, Denmark, and like I say, I'm going to include Iceland. The amount of bands that come from that part of the world that just don't get the recognition, like Jason said, especially over here. I mean, unless you're Sabaton and stuff like that, it just doesn't come over here, and it bums both of us out for sure, because of how we feel about heavy metal as a genre, as far as its worldwide reach. So we kind of get, me especially, I kind of get disappointed when bands from your area of the world just don't get the eyes and ears on them. So like Jason said, that's one of the things we want, one of our trademarks here. So I think I actually just got lost. I think I rambled myself into losing my train of thought. Shit. I'm sorry. I think I was going somewhere with that. I had a question. I just forgot the question. I feel like an idiot right now. Sorry. Fuck. What was I gonna say?
You just got your game through by the referee, like the White Sox did the other night. So.
Yeah. Andres, I'm sorry about that. I did have a question I was going to ask. What the hell was I going to say?
Well, I got one for
I'll
you.
think of it.
Maybe you'll think of it.
I will think of it.
I know one of the things that I always ask, especially with guitarists on the show, is kind of what were some of your guitarist influences while playing. So,
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, from all over the place. I mean, it's like, the Pantera riffage, like the Paul muted stuff, like, of course. Then, we listen to a lot of Slayer, so it's just anything hard, heavy, or fast or aggressive. Yeah.
well, you guys definitely don't lack in the aggression category.
Absolutely.
Can tell you that. That's for damn sure. And I mean, like I said, you can't find a more proper avenue or of music to be in than heavy metal with that type of aggression. So, so I think you guys have found your niche for sure. So, and like I said, it's kind of wild to listen to some albums, being a debut album, and you're just like, okay, well, these guys had to be together for like 10 years before they made this or something, because it just sounds so. It just sounds like you guys, yeah, and it sounds like you guys have been playing together forever. You know what I mean? It's like I've heard albums where from older bands that have been around for decades that doesn't even they'll put out a record, and I'm just like, man, give and take this song or that song, but to hear a debut album and it just like, I know like so this may go either way too. Is I know that some bands don't like to hear that because they're just like, okay, they get kind of intimidated when people tell them that, because they're like, okay, where do we go from here then if this is so good? It's like but I think most bands are able to do sophomore albums just as good. I've seen bands live that I've never heard of and followed them since then, and they continue to put out great music and continue to kind of I wouldn't say leaps over bounds, but they kind of improve themselves each record. So it's good to see and hear that bands are still around, able to do it, especially after the COVID snap. And there was like a lot of bands that came out right at that time that I wasn't scared that was going to make it, because they were new and they just came out, and I was like, okay, well, now they can't even tour on it, so now they're screwed. So it's kind of a thing that was worrying me about the music scene in general, but it's definitely bounced back with a vengeance, man. I think it's more popular than ever. So
yeah, for sure. And yeah, we're the type of guys that we already see like a lot of things. Like we did the album, we're happy with it, we listened to it, now we're like, okay, we know exactly what we can do better, so our next release is gonna be like a 2.0. So like it doesn't phase us like that people compliment this, but yeah, it's just the way we are. Like, already written a lot of material for the new for another release, so like we're just itching to get that underway. So
yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. We'll take a Trivium every year release from you guys if you want to.
Right? Yeah. And I bet you guys probably do feel good about the direction of where the band is going, because you do basically have two different sounds incorporated into one album. So as far as moving forward, you could kind of go off a little more in the hardcore album. You could kind of go off in a little more of the death metal, if you want to, but while both staying in the same lane, because you guys do have two different sounds, and you even have, the 3 or 4 of you are even contributing vocally. So you even on this album, you can still tell that, all right, that was a different singer on that one line or in that one verse or that one chorus. So you guys have all sorts of different ways you probably feel like you can go moving forward.
Yeah, that's yeah, couldn't have said it any better. So like this is exactly what we've been thinking ourselves. So
So I'm guessing like you guys haven't gotten to play a whole lot of live shows, have you, or have you?
Well, not a whole lot. We've been doing it kind of regularly, like last 2 years.
Okay.
And then we're gonna do a release show now a month from now, but then we just kind of have to figure out where we go from there.
Okay. So that being said, I know it's kind of like you guys are kind of you know, not been around a whole long time, but we do always ask this question. So and if there's nothing there, you feel free to say that. But we always kind of like, is there anything that happened like a live show that kind of stood out, or even if it's good, bad, funny, you know, whatever. We just like to hear how if there's anything memorable that ever happened to you guys at a live show.
No crazy stories, I'm afraid. It's
man.
Okay, still early.
Yeah, we had some really good shows, and yeah, and not really any like fantastically shitty shows. That
that's definitely good to hear. But
yeah. Well, I know we asked one band, and I think it was like it wasn't even like a band thing. It was like a fan. He was talking about some crazy ass fan that I think they wound up. I guess he was like supposed to get kicked out, but he kept like finding his way back in or something. You remember that story, Chris?
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember all the details, but yeah. They couldn't keep this dude out. I don't know how the hell he kept getting. I don't know how the hell he kept getting back into the show, but
it was hilarious. But like I said, I mean, there's gonna be plenty of time for you guys, I think, to make many memories and road stories for sure. So
yeah,
has there ever been a show like, I know like being in entertainment myself before is kind of a thing that always shocked me is like, you know, they'd be like, oh well, you know, you're going to do this and this, and you're so caught up in what you're going to do is when you walk out and you're like, holy shit, where'd all these people come from? You know, like, you ever have one of those moments? Or
yeah, I mean, not on a huge scale, but I mean, the clubs here don't take too many. Like, there's not room for too much people. So
okay. So what do you think? Like maybe 150, 200 or something like that, maybe? Or
yeah, something like that.
I know that's usually like that's usually like the max for a lot of our smaller clubs. So
yeah,
you know, which a lot of times a band to come through and I'm just like, wow, they're playing that show. Like, damn, that's going to be interesting because they're going to pack that fucking place.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you know, I don't know the logistics and the thinking behind that sometimes, but definitely when you get bigger bands and they come across those venues, you're just like, damn, I better get tickets now because they ain't gonna have any, because
exactly
they're gonna pull that 250 easy. So so
yeah. Andres, when you guys were recording the album, you talked about going to the studio. Is that a studio that you guys have, or was there an actual formal studio that you guys went to?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say a formal studio. It's we rehearse with a bunch of other bands, and there's a studio set up over there, and then we had some really good guys like recording it and mixing it and producing. So yeah.
Okay. Still kind of more of a do-it-yourself kind of deal, huh?
Yeah, kind.
Yeah, because we've seen we seem to be coming across that more often than not here lately. I mean, and not for everybody, of course, but there's one of our friends over here in the United States. They're in Virginia, a couple states over from us, and they have like the lead singer we've talked to a couple times. We'll have him on, and he'll be sitting in his computer, and everything, all their studio stuff is like right there behind him. He's like, yeah, we recorded this right there. We did the guitars on that. We did the drums on this, and there's the mixing. So I mean, he has this like one guy. He's got we got everything right behind us. So we seem to be I think it's cool that bands are able to do that. But
you're talking about two guys that's in the band that are in IT too. So
right,
still,
yeah.
So
one guy's like a computer programmer, and the other one is, I can't remember what the other. So he does IT. So I mean, Yeah. So, and hell, they're always on Twitch. Like it seems like they're on Twitch like every other day or some shit like that. But it's good to see that you guys, these new bands that are coming up, you guys are able to. I know you guys are on a label, but it's nice to know that bands don't necessarily have to rely on a label to get their music out there.
Yeah.
So I do like that.
So speaking of that, how did you guys come in contact with the label? I mean, because the label being in Italy is kind of a little bit of ways from you guys. So.
Yeah, we actually just went label hunting when the album was ready. So we just started presenting it to a bunch of labels, and
they picked it up. So.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's good. I like, to me, that's like, I think that's awesome, because to me that seems like so old school to me. It's like like sending stuff out, and instead of having, most of the time here in the States you hear about, a lot of there's like scouts and stuff going to shows, and picking out bands that they may be interested in signing and that kind of thing. So it's cool to see that there's still that footwork being done by the band, so to speak. So it just I don't know. To me, it just makes you more respectable, I guess. I mean,
well, it shows how hardworking you are as a band, and you'll take the initiative to, to do the work. I think so. I think it's absolutely a good look for a band to get out there and do that, even if it is a little more old school. But I mean, I think it shows initiative and work ethic.
So it was wild that you bring that up, because I remember, like I said, contacting the label or whatever, and then I didn't realize I had listened to another album that same week from Ancient Settlers that are also on the record label. So I was like, oh, okay. So I guess that makes a lot of sense. When I was listening to that record as well, I was like, oh, okay. So.
Oh yeah, I see them on the list. They're out of Spain.
Yeah. So it was pretty wild when I actually started following the record label, just because I wanted to kind of, I was like, well, if they're putting out this kind of music, maybe we need to be on board with following them a little bit and seeing what they're putting out. So,
well, I think we absolutely do. Even, because now we've got Duft, we've got. I even see that Evermore is on here. I've actually.
Oh yeah.
I've actually done reviews on 2 of their albums.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, Hidden Intents on there. So I mean, this is definitely a label we're going to have to keep an eye on.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming out from them too. So
especially since, according to Andres, they're treating bands well. So I mean, we definitely need to do.
I mean, that's like a big that's a big thing, dude. It's like, we hear so many horror stories with record labels to even with bands that have been around for 20 years over here, like Nonpoint. They went independent, and after 20 years of being on, they've been on independent for a while now. So, but anyway, 15, 16 years on a label, and they just decide, okay, screw this, we're going independent. I mean, that's kind of wild to hear bands that's been around that long go independent. But I guess, if nothing else, they may have built up the money, to be able to do that. I don't know if there was like a horror case with that, but I guess they feel, well, if I'm involved in it altogether, then I can kind of be involved with it altogether and not have nobody telling me where and what to do. So,
yeah. And then we all heard about, and then over here, especially, we all heard about, like, we did a story on about how Chevelle didn't make any money for like 10 years.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So it's because of their, their contract was where they didn't, it was like so much cost and everything involved with the albums that they didn't make anything. They had to tour, or they wouldn't have made no money. So,
right.
Yeah. Luckily they were able to be heard across radio airwaves, so that kind of helped too, I'm sure. So,
yeah.
I did notice you guys have a video for the Only Dead Fish Follow the Stream, correct?
Yeah. So
Sorry. No, I was just going to ask, is that on YouTube or?
Yeah, it's on YouTube on the Scarlet channel, and we have 2 videos. We also did a video for instant gratification.
Right. Yeah, I think I've seen that one. I didn't see the Dead Fish one. I guess that one was that one got by me. So.
Well, I mean, like we've said before, we don't have the time and the freedom to listen to every album that comes out. I wish we did,
I
but
wish, yeah.
yeah, sometimes we do kind of have to kind of backtrack a little bit on some things. But we definitely do the best we can here. So
when you're looking at 50, 40 to 50 albums a week coming out over,
but yeah, between
kind
two
of,
guys, that's a lot of ground to cover. But
yeah.
so as far as the album itself, talking about the name of the album, but let's talk about like the visual aspect of it, because we always kind of like to talk about that too, because we love album covers here. So excuse me. So who kind of came up with the concept of the actual album cover art?
Well, it was the artist, and I'm afraid that his name has escaped me, but I'm trying to find it on the record here.
It's kind of
Okay,
wild.
now I don't feel so bad, because I mean it happens to everybody. So
Yeah. It's a great looking art. So yeah, we just we gave him the music, and this is what he came up with, and it fit so absolutely perfectly with the album and the theme of the album. So yeah.
You just got kind of a dude stuck in solitude on fire, so it's kind of
yeah. Oh man, I'm so embarrassed. I don't remember his name. The guy who drew it. Made the artwork. So
yeah, well, I haven't seen fire done this well on an album cover too often either.
No, it's usually well, you can look at it until it's not.
I mean, more often than not, most of the time when you see fire done on an album cover, it's a little more on the cartoony side sometimes.
Right, that's kind of what I was going to say.
Yeah, so I mean, so it's a little, I guess a little more abstract, I guess. But I mean, this album cover's got some of the more accurate firework done on it. So.
And it's got that doomy feel to the photograph.
Absolutely.
I mean, so I think it definitely fits in with what they're doing musically. So
and,
his name is David Demeret. And he did an awesome job. So
there it is.
We're gonna edit this out where David is not gonna know we screwed that up. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, Andres. Everyone's gonna know that you and I both forgot something. So
yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it does happen. But another thing I like about the album cover, and another thing I like about the flames is flames. Obviously, they flow naturally upwards. It flows upwards right to the peak of that flame, right up to the band name.
Right. It's like an arrow almost.
Yep, it is. And I mean, which one of you guys came up with that font that you guys used for the band name? Was that you? I mean,
well, it was a friend of ours who drew this up from an idea that Victor had, our bass player. So he initially drew it up, and then our friend took it over and made it the way it is now.
It's almost got like a Dio type feel to it, I think.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It does.
Which is great.
I mean, especially the D in Duft, but yeah, overall it does have a Dio feel to it. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You can't go wrong.
We're actually we're actually planning to three of us to get tattoos of the guy in the chair.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
There's a guy working on drawing that up for us. So
we had to see pictures of that when you guys get those. That'd be pretty awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So do you guys have any kind of social media or anything that you guys kind of promote stuff on, or?
Yeah, for sure. Instagram, it's Duft Official.
Oh, that's weird.
And
I kept trying to figure out. I was
Facebook.
like, well, I follow them somewhere. I know, but
There's his. Okay. Following on Instagram.
So yeah, we also have a Facebook, which is Duft Iceland.
Okay.
I couldn't find them on Facebook.
Well, we're about to find out.
Maybe that's one.
There it is. Okay. Well, that's the thing, though. We went right to the source to find out the actual social media
right,
pages.
yeah. Well, I mean, the bad thing is when you put in that band name, it always wants to pop up Daft Punk for some reason.
Daft Punk, I know.
Yeah, I'm just like, not what I'm looking for here, guys. It's
not even close.
But I'm curious, how did you guys come about find out about the album?
So we get our weekly album stuff from a site over here called heavymusic.com. So Music. Oh, Heavy Music HQ. Sorry.
Yeah, Heavy Music HQ.
Yeah.
Oh,
yep,
there's
a like you said, there's a list of all of the new releases that come out every Friday, and part of what we do on the show, like I say, when we have our regular format, when we don't have a guest on, is we each do a formal album review, and what we try to do, like I say, because we are trying to get we are trying to get bands exposure. What we try to do is we try to pick a band blind that we've never heard of before, or at least we're not sure that we've heard of before. And we pick that album, we listen to the album, we do a formal write-up on it. And, I'd probably say at least 97% of the time it is a band that we've never heard of before. Sometimes we do have a bigger name band that comes out that we listen to and we kind of talk about, but more often than not, it's somebody new. So Jason did the album review a couple weeks ago. And so he was the one who did that album review. And of course I have listened to it since then, naturally, but he was the one who selected the album and did the formal review on the show. So that's how that came about.
That's cool.
So we are following on Facebook and Instagram now. So we definitely are going to keep tabs on that, and we will. I'm going to start following Scarlet Records also. So I mean, definitely going to keep an eye on the label.
Yeah, I followed those guys first, so that's they kind of the ones that kind of helped set it all up, because I didn't have any. I couldn't find Duft on anything, or Duft, I guess, sorry, but I couldn't find you guys on anything. So I was like, well, let me go back and just hit the record label up and say, hey man, is there any way we can get in touch with these guys? I'd love to have them on the show. And they're like, oh yeah, you can hit Andreas up here. Here's his email address, and you can tag me in if you need to. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So,
very, very accommodating, really.
Yeah. Usually, like I said, I was spitballing in the wind because I didn't know how I was going to, you never know how those conversations are going to go. Is especially with, I don't know how big a label Scarlet is, so I couldn't do that over here with any of the bigger labels. Like even with Spine Farm or anybody like that, they're just going to be like, oh man, you got time to mess with you. You're not Lou Brutus or anybody. We're not going to fuck with you.
Right. Full Metal Jackie or anything like that.
Yeah. So we're kind of small time players too right now. So,
yep.
I mean, I wouldn't mind being, into a where we could like introduce bands at festivals or something. That'd be pretty cool. But maybe one day we'll see.
Yeah. We may get there too.
Yeah. Speaking of that, is there any type of like festivals they do over in Iceland or anything? Or?
Yeah, for sure. There are some festivals that are regular festivals over here.
Okay, cool.
Even for like heavy metal and like the underground stuff.
Okay. I have to do some research on that then, because I when we do the segment, usually I do like all the festival dates and stuff. Since I actually went to a few there for a few years in a row, and then I finally decided, I was like, you know what, I'm not getting as much out of this as I thought I would. So it's like, yes, I'm seeing a lot of bands, but I don't think I'm getting the quality of of the shows from festivals because their sets are so short, So it's kind of like I'd rather go see an hour live in a venue somewhere of the person I want to see than to see 80 bands that I some I've seen before and some I've never seen, but it's kind of a mix. But you just don't get I don't think you get the quality that you do with the personability of the shows, like when you're actually there in a venue, and being out in the field with 80,000 strangers. So.
Yeah. There's some, of course, I've never been to a festival that big, but I'm sure there's something to be said for both. I mean, at a festival with that many bands, you can discover new music, but in a club,
right.
in a club with 200 to 250 other people, we would probably have a chance to actually come up and shake your hand after the show and, and everything else. I mean, it all depends on the experience you want to have, I'm sure.
So Andres, being a guitar player, I'm sure you have your favorite acts there that you got that you like to play. What do you usually like to play?
Yeah, for sure. So this is what I use for everything related to Duft. It's a skate caster.
Nice.
Charvel. And yeah, I really like it.
So what kind of amps and stuff do you use with that? Or
well, we have we plug into like the line 6 thing, pedal thing, and go straight to the PA system, but also split the signal to a cab to get a stage sound.
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess it ain't as like it used to be, where you have like a band with 50 amplifiers on the stage like they used to be, since most venues kind of provide that now. But
yeah, but we tried once doing it just straight to the PA system, but it was too strange for us not to hear anything behind us.
Oh yeah,
like the ears not ringing enough. So yeah, we had to do that.
Oh wow!
It felt too nice.
It felt too nice.
It's like you left, went home, and go, I can still hear something's wrong.
Yeah.
I know. I've gotten to where I wear the eargasm earplugs a lot when I'm out shows now, because I got to where I was like, yeah, you know what? I kind of want to do this for a long time, so I probably need to protect what little I got left. So
yep.
So
yeah,
that's something that kind of don't repair itself. So you lose it, you lose it. So
yeah, I've been listening. I've been wearing earplugs to shows for a long time now, and now that my daughter and I have been going to shows and stuff, and she's 22, but even with her only being 22, I've told her, wear earplugs now. I mean, start doing it now. Get used to wearing them. That way you can keep going to shows, for the next 40, 50 some odd years. Wear earplugs now. I mean, it's never too early to start wearing earplugs. And there's no shame in it. You go to a show and you look around and you can, hell, the ones I wear, just the little foam ones that are goofy neon colors. And so you can see, and of course now I have a shaved head, you can see I got them in, there's no hiding it. So, you look around, it's like, he's got some, he's 60, he's 18. So, the people really aren't fucking around with, protecting their hearing anymore, which is good. But
I want to be 70 years old. And if I want to go to a concert, I want to go to a concert and enjoy it and hear it. I don't want to be, having to have a hearing aid or whatever. But that would probably be rough, trying to have a hearing aid at a show.
Right.
You get a lot of distortion there, probably. So.
Yeah, I don't think line 6 makes hearing aids.
Hey, don't give them no ideas, man.
Well, hey, if they get the idea, it's on the internet now.
Yeah, just Bluetooth straight into the show.
That would be a good idea. That would be a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
Or I'd be fucked up if you couldn't if you had a Bluetooth hearing aid, but you couldn't get it to pair.
Yeah. So, one more before we take off here, Andres. Is there going to be any hard copies of the Altar of Instant Gratification or anything?
Yeah, for sure. We have it on vinyl.
Oh, nice.
And also CDs available.
Right.
Nice.
So,
Do you have to go to live shows, or are you guys selling that over your?
Yeah, they got
well,
Bandcamp, right?
yeah, there's a Bandcamp, and
Okay.
also you can order from the Scarlet website.
Okay, that was my next question. I figured they probably would be
Yeah,
selling those guys for you guys. So, cool. I'm a hard copy guy, so I like to have my hands on things. So even
yeah,
though
of
there's
course.
not a lot of ways to play it anymore, but I do have a system here in the house I could actually play it on. So it's I just bought a new car, and that's one of the things I got kind of mad about. There wasn't a CD player in it, so I was like, really? Like, come on, man! Like, CDs are still, you can they're still making them, they still play them. So,
Mm-hmm.
but with the all the apps, so which I'd rather play it that way too, because you guys get more money out of me buying a CD than you ever would streaming.
Yep.
So,
By a lot. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'd rather buy the hard copy to support you guys than download. I'd have to. Maybe we could. And I was telling Chris this one time. I said maybe we should just like find a band like you guys and just put them on repeat on Spotify just to piss them off. So they
Yeah.
pay
There you go.
pay you guys a lot of money from repeating.
Yeah.
Repeat plays.
Be a great idea. Just because I've got Spotify on my phone, and I've got it pulled up here. I got my dashboard up here on the computer screen. Just leave for work one day, put the new album on, and just like put it on, like you said, let it play on repeat for 9 hours until I get home.
Yep. Yeah.
Little bit of it'll throw the analytics off a little bit, but hey, what they don't know won't hurt them. So
That's right.
so you've got the hard copies of the album. Any merch, patches, stickers, anything, t-shirts, anything else in the works?
Yeah, we got some like t-shirts, and we're gonna be working on some sweaters probably. But that's for the time being. It's only available at shows.
Okay. All right. So, do you guys foresee a formal website of your own at some point in the future?
Yeah, for sure. At some point in our future. So,
all right, we'll definitely keep our eyes open for that.
Well, it's I actually have a meeting today at 6:00 for the same thing on our end. So we've kind of been doing this long enough that we probably need a website at this point. So I'm actually going to a meeting at 6:00 this afternoon for that. So,
oh, nice.
So I'm in Metalheads Unite mode all day today, I guess. So, but yeah, James, we appreciate you taking your time out to talk to us, and kind of giving us a little bit of introduction to Duft, and hopefully you guys continue success with the release, and looking forward to the new stuff too, man. Like I said, we're following you guys now, so on everything. So
yep, you're not getting away from us now. So,
when that gets released, we'll be very, very glad to share that over on all of our socials as well. So
absolutely, yep. And anything, whenever more music gets ready to be released, let us know. We'll have you and maybe a couple of the other guys back on. So we look forward to doing this again.
Yeah, absolutely. And just thanks for inviting me on the show.
We I say we appreciate you taking your time out, and I know it's a Saturday there, and I don't know about the happenings of the day, but Saturday's usually the busy day around here for us. Yep. But we appreciate it, man. And like I said, hopefully nothing but success for you guys, and we'll look forward to new music and sharing any tour dates as well once you guys get all that settled into. So.
Absolutely. Especially with anything that gets finalized with you guys getting to go out on the road, it'll be that will absolutely be announced on the show during the Hitting the Road segment. I guarantee you.
All right, Jason. I mean, we appreciate it, man. Hope you have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Yep. Thanks for coming on the show, Andres. It was great to get to talk to you, and great to meet you.
Likewise.
All right, man. Thanks. Take care, bud. Whoa, I was going to say, where'd I go?
Get out of here.
I was about to say, how did Andres know how to kick me out of the show?
Okay, Andres said, man, I'm gonna know all of y'all, dude.
Yeah, he's like, this shit's over.
Everybody get out.
Had a small panic attack. It's like, I'm not even touching anything. What happened?
Yeah. I didn't know. Like a lot of times they're like still hanging around and trying to figure out. I don't want them to look crazy trying to mess with stuff on the camera.
Yeah.
So I usually try to put him in the backstage so they figure it out. But he bounced out before I could get there. So
yeah, no, that's fine. But yeah, man, that's this going to be one of those bands that I think is going to make some noise. No pun intended. But I mean,
oh yeah,
because
sure.
I mean, and I'm looking through Scarlet's lineup. They're the first band that Scarlet has from Iceland, which I think is cool as hell. They're the 1st. But I mean, you look at their listing: Italy, Sweden, Portugal, Australia.
Oh yeah, they're kind of all over the place.
Greece, France, Finland, Iceland, the United States. I mean, they've got a band called Faith's Edge over here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna see what else they got on the first page. Hang on, because I mean, they're not afraid to Denmark, Brazil. Well, here's another American band, Celador, Germany, the UK, Hungary, Czech Republic. Let's see. Here's a symphonic power metal band from the United States, Operatica Element. They've been a band since 2002. So yeah, well, here's another one. One Machine. They're from the United States.
They're kind
so yeah, I mean,
they actually have a worldwide promotion. So
they absolutely do. So I mean, that's awesome. I like that. So we're following them. We're following Duft, and we're following the label on Instagram and on Facebook now. We're gonna keep an eye on the progress of the band and the label because
I think I was already following them somewhere, but I can't remember where. So.
Well, we definitely are now. I mean, obviously, of course, with them being based where they're based, most of the bands are Italian. But I mean, that only goes to, that only makes sense because that's the home base. But between Italy and the whole of Scandinavia, I mean, they've got an absolute foothold in Europe. I mean, I don't think they're going anywhere. But yeah, they went all the way down to Australia to get Hidden Intent too. So
yeah. Well, that wasn't a bad pickup for sure. So
shit, no.
Especially, and they're working on new music.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And I'd definitely be excited to hear that. I'd love to have those guys on again too. Maybe we can get Paul on camera this time.
Yeah.
Chris and Phil were talking to us, and Paul was in the background. He was there. He could hear us.
Yeah,
he was like, for some reason, he just didn't want to get on camera, which I thought was funny as hell. But when Chris sent us a picture, he was like, "Yeah, he's here." He's like, "What the fuck is he doing behind, on the other side of the camera?" That was hilarious. But
all right, so real quick before we go, if you see scrolling at the bottom of the screen, do not go to the merch store. It is closed. Hate to tell you that, but it is. The 24/7 radio station is still streaming, so you can actually go to that at stream.trulyradio247.com/8008/stream. The reason the shop is closed is because the domain expired, and I'm not going to renew that until I'm actually going to buy a new domain and for the website. So that's kind of like what we're talking over this afternoon. So.
Yeah, but we do still know that there are a couple of people who want shirts, and we know what size, so we do remember. But so we haven't forgotten about you guys. So
you'll be able to do all of that on the website once it's done. So
yeah, so we haven't forgotten about the folks who do want merch, but we're like Jason said, it's kind of been a little bit of a work in progress, so it's kind of been up in the air. But it's like we're not trying to put anybody's merch orders, on the back burner or, set them aside or anything like that. But we're trying to streamline it for everybody. So everything can be a little bit easier on you guys and on us, of course, but making it a little simpler. So,
well, I just, I don't see, honestly, I didn't see, there was good things about it and there was bad things about it, I think. So it's kind of almost want to like. It's one of those things where I'd rather have it in my own hands
of course,
to put out there. So we'll probably be making our own merch for a little while until it gets until it gets blowed up where we can't anymore. But then I'll hire some kids around the neighborhood to do it. I'm just kidding. Oh my god.
well, I mean, hell, depending on how old they are, they may have more of the know-how than we do.
Well, probably, yeah.
Who knows? So I mean, you know, may have like hell. You may have some 22-year-olds or something like that who's like, oh yeah, I know how to do all that. Like, okay, fine.
Right. Yep. Never know. So
yeah, you never know.
All right, guys. So we will end that here, and
yep.
Like I said, you can always catch us on all of our socials as well.
Mm-hmm. One thing I do want to say before we go. This was obviously in place of the regular Friday show and all that stuff.
Right.
So as is normal, what we will do is, and I didn't do this last week, even though we had Halo Scars on. So I'm kind of kicking myself in the ass for that. But Jason did an album review write up for the new Kerry King album, and I neglected to do a write up. I did listen to the new Kerry King. So basically I'm just going to piggyback off of his because when I listened to it, I actually gave the same rating as he did. So I felt the exact same way about it. Now I never got around to listening to another album and doing a write up. So I do apologize for that. However, I am going to make up for that in spades this week. I did because with this over here in the US, with this being Memorial Day weekend, I actually took Friday off. That way I could have a 4-day weekend. And, so I was at the house yesterday because my wife had to work. So basically I listened to new music all day yesterday. I even told Jason this already. I listened to 6 new albums. Of course, one of them was the new Duft album as a refresher. So I listened to 5 brand new albums that were brand new. And I listened to 4 EPs yesterday. So I have 9 new pieces of music. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to do like a, probably not a full-fledged write-up on every single one of them, but I may try to do like a bulk synopsis, like name of the album, like the album art, and like maybe a quick little blurb about each one. So I'm gonna make up for this past weekend in spades. So I'm gonna, of course, I will touch base with Jason and make sure that we're not going to double up because I don't know what he listened to and he doesn't know what I listen to. He just knows how many. So we'll touch base on that. We'll get our write-ups done, and like I say, I'm going to have something that's going to be a little rather lengthy, but like I say, I feel apologies for last week, but I'm going to make it up to you guys this week. So
good deal. So,
yeah.
I say we will, and also we're back next week. We're also back with another guest.
Yes,
so it's so next
4 weeks in a row.
Yeah, but it's going to be on Friday, so we're back to our normal time, Friday at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Yep. So. Yeah, we will have a guest. I'm not going to tell you the name of the band, but I will tell you that it is another band from East Tennessee. So
yeah. Follow the Instagrams and the Facebooks and all that stuff, and get the updates when I post the stories, and then you will have the insight to who we're going to be interviewing next week.
That's right. We're trying to and we don't have it set in stone yet, but we do tentatively have a guest for the first weekend in June. We have to touch base with said guest and find out if they're available. If that's the case, that'll be 5 weeks in a row with a live guest. So we're trying. We've established a streak. We're trying to see how long we can keep this. This going. So because
like I said, and then like I said, if you follow our socials, we kind of keep the news and stuff and birthdays going over there. So
yes, we do.
Kind of everything that we do on our normal shows, kind of put on to the socials. So have to follow us there to get all that info if you're looking for any of that. So
but that stuff is predominantly in the Facebook group and the Facebook page. So the Facebook group is a membership page. So send us a member request and we'll get you guys hooked up. We've actually had a kind of a surge in followers and in membership over on Facebook, and over the past week and a half or so, ever since Halo Scars came on the band, came back on the show. So, we appreciate all you guys who have followed the Facebook page and have set yourselves up with memberships in the Facebook group. So we greatly appreciate that. But Facebook group, Facebook page, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, X, whatever, TikTok, Instagram, Rumble, all that good stuff. You can find us all there. And even though we haven't had a theme of the week the last couple of weeks with us having our live guests, we do have all of our past playlists over there now. And when we finally do break this live guest streak, we've got another theme of the week in the chamber. Jason started it. I finished it. So now we're back on the same page. So the next time we actually do have our regularly scheduled format, we will have a new playlist for you guys. But Jason has uploaded the new release playlist, so that's there. If you want some new music, if you want to listen to a little bit of new music from this weekend's guest, Duft, they'll be on there. So
also, it's on the radio, it's streaming on the radio station already too. So
yes, it is.
There you go. Well, not this week's, but the previous week's. I got to put this week's on there because I just did it the other night. So
right.
But yeah, so we're still uploading music, trying to get back to where we were from before the fire. So
yes, we are.
A long ways to go, but we'll get there. Yep. So. And
metalheadsuniteusa@gmail.com is our email address, so I don't neglect to say that.
Nope. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the interview, and we will get this up on Spotify for all those listeners. Hopefully, coming up soon. Still got to do the Halo Scars edit, so I'm a little bit behind. So, but with the remodel and everything going on, it's still kind of it's almost over. Thank God.
Yeah.
But anyway, hopefully we catch you guys back here next week. Until then, keep those horns held high. Jump in that pit anytime you can.
Have a great week, guys. Thank you very much.